So I thought the next tutorial we could cover would be talking about our plugins and widgets and kind of all this additional functionality you get with Genesis and Foodie and how it all kind of works together and can be used really efficiently. I'm on our site here. I went ahead and opened a post because I'm going to show you a couple examples of things that we can use within here. And I've got this other tab open. I'll just go to our WordPress dashboard and let's talk about our widgets first. So if we go to Appearance and then Widgets, going back to our example page, right now we don't have any widgets in our widget area. And if you're new to WordPress, what this means is you have available widgets and then widgetized areas. Available widgets are the different functionalities that you can add to certain parts of your site. For example, if I want to add archives over on my sidebar, I'll just drag that, drop it, click save. If I refresh my page, we've now got this little archives link. Super snazzy, and of course the huge benefit is that you're not jumping in the code, you're not messing with anything, and you always know it's set up and it's consistent across your site, which is always an important concern. But if I drag this off here, I have a couple other widgetized areas I want to talk about. And these are specific to Foodie. Primarily, you have a top ad, so if you want to add an ad to the top of your site, you can just drag in a little text widget there. But primarily, these home widgets and these recipe widgets, these are going to give us a ton of personalized, awesome functionality to your site. And I'll do specific tutorials on using those, but I thought you should be aware that this is a huge part of Foodie, and using and utilizing these can really give a lot of personality and flavor to your site, which I think is extremely beneficial. You also have 3 footer widgets, which you'll be able to use and can be very helpful as well. I'll come back to this here in a minute because I want to talk about plugins, and plugins are these third-party little code things you can add, but many times they will actually create widgets for you, and then you can drag those into parts of your site. So let's go to plugins and then installed plugins. I've included links for these 5 plugins below. Specific, you'll probably end up using more on your WordPress site, but specific to Foodie and Genesis, these 5 plugins are extremely helpful and work really well. One reason I really like Foodie is that it has customized formatting for most of these plugins if they show up, I guess, publicly on your site. And it just makes your site look a little bit more polished and clean and helpful. The one I'm not going to talk about right now will be this Genesis featured widget amplified, and that's because we'll use that in the homepage and recipe page. But if you want to add one of these on your plugins page, you'll click add new. You can search for whatever plugin you want. If I type in Genesis here and then search for it, I would just search for the whole name. You can click install, and it will allow you to activate your plugin and bring you back to this page right here. Again, plugins, install plugins. And so I would go ahead and, while you have the time, just install all 5 of these. These are going to be very helpful. And if you don't want to use them later, you can remove them. The next one I will talk about will be this easy recipe plugin. On our example post here, if I scroll to the bottom, I have a recipe that's that's already inserted, and it's right here for, I've got my ingredients, instructions. The reason I like Foodie is that they've actually included custom code for this so that it shows up well and it makes your recipes look like they're part of the content within your site. Additionally, you get some benefits with Google recipe search and otherwise if you're using a little plugin like this. So I think it's very helpful and worth installing and using this. When you're in your post, if I click my edit post button here, you can edit a recipe or add a recipe using this little chef guy up here. But that's how you'll use that and add that functionality to your post there. There's also some settings. If you click settings in here, you've got some specific easy recipe settings which you can look through and make fit to your site. The next one, this Pinterest pin it button for images, going back to our example post, another piece of functionality Foodie has installed. Rather than just having a pin it image, when you hover over an image, it's got this little thumbtack for pinning it. Of course, if somebody clicks that, it'll take them to Pinterest. I'm not signed in right now, but if you were, you'd be able to pin directly from